Welcome, everyone. We're here to cut through the noise and get you the essential information from Congress. Today, we're zeroing in on last week, specifically August 12th and 15th, 2025. We'll cover the key events, new bills, things like that. Think of this as your shortcut to knowing what actually happened in Washington. And hey, before we jump in, if you find this useful, please take a second to like and subscribe. It really helps us keep bringing you this information. Everything we talk about today comes straight from the official Congressional Record, so you're getting a direct look.
That's right. And for this period, August 12th and 15th, you need to know the Senate was mostly in what they call pro forma sessions.
Meaning very brief, right?
Exactly. Brief procedural meetings. But the House of Representatives, they actually had quite a bit going on. Some significant legislative activity, key appointments, and understanding these daily actions, even the pro forma ones, is pretty important. They keep things moving, prevent certain kinds of appointments, ensure continuity. It's all part of the bigger legislative picture.
Okay, got it. So let's unpack that, starting with Tuesday, August 12th. What stood out in the House that day? Anything on the leadership front?
Yeah, so on the 12th, Representative McGuire was appointed to act as Speaker pro tempore for the day.
Okay, Speaker pro tempore. Can you just briefly explain what that means?
Sure. It just means they were designated to preside over the House session for that specific day. In these pro forma sessions, it's largely procedural. They make sure the rules are followed, gavel in, gavel out. Sometimes it's a chance for newer members to get a feel for managing the floor, but there wasn't, major debate happening.
Right, understood. Now, looking beyond who was holding the gavel, what about new legislation, new ideas entering the system?
Always interesting to watch. On August 12th, the House introduced 23 new public bills.
Okay.
Those are formally designated House Resolution 4947 through House Resolution 4969. And alongside those, there were also 3 new resolutions introduced, House Resolutions 647 through 649.
And when we say bills introduced, what does that really signify for you, the listener? What's the practical meaning of that first step?
Good question. Basically, introduction is the starting gun. It's the very first formal step for a new policy idea. It means someone has drafted it, put it forward, and now it's officially on the House's agenda. It can be referred to a committee, debated later. It's the beginning of its journey.
So it's officially in the queue, so to speak.
Exactly. A lot gets introduced, of course, but this is how they all start.
Makes sense. And what was happening in the Senate on the 12th? You mentioned pro forma earlier.
Right. The Senate held a pro forma session. Met very briefly, adjourned quickly. That was pretty much it.
Any committee activity?
Yeah.
Hearings?
No, nothing in the Senate. And actually, same for the House on the 12th. No committee meetings or hearings were held either. Pretty typical for those pro forma days.
Okay, let's shift then to Friday, August 15th, another Speaker pro tempore appointed that day.
Yes, similar situation. On the 15th, Representative Whitman was appointed Speaker pro tempore for the day.
Same role, presiding over the brief session.
Exactly the same function as Representative McGuire earlier in the week. Procedural oversight for the session.
And legislative introductions, did that continue?
It did. The House kept up the pace.
Can you give us the numbers for the 15th? Any different types of resolutions, perhaps?
Sure. On August 15th, the House introduced 22 public bills. Those are House Resolution 4970 through House Resolution 4999. And then 14 resolutions were introduced. This included House Joint Resolutions 112 through 115, and also House Resolutions 650 through 659.
Okay. House Joint Resolutions, is there anything notable about those generally?
Well, joint resolutions, or HJRes, they can have the force of law just like a bill. They're often used for things like continuing appropriations if there's a budget deadline, or sometimes for constitutional amendments, though we don't have the specifics on these particular ones just from the record number.
Got it. So a slightly different legislative tool being used there.
Right.
And again, on the 15th, any committee meetings or hearings in either the House or Senate?
No, same pattern.
Okay.
Senate was pro forma, no committee meetings there, and likewise, no committee meetings or hearings listed for the House on the 15th either. They were essentially keeping the lights on, fulfilling the constitutional need to convene.
All right. Now let's move to something that signals maybe more concrete progress.
Yeah.
Bills getting reports filed. This happened for several House bills on August 15th. What does reports filed actually mean? Why is that a key step?
Yes, reports filed. This is significant. It means a bill has made it through its assigned committee. The committee has likely reviewed it, maybe debated it, possibly amended it. We saw a few amendments mentioned, and then voted to approve it to send it forward.
Okay.
The report itself is the formal document from the committee explaining the bill, what the committee did, why they support it, any changes they made. So the bottom line, It signals the bill is now potentially ready for consideration by the entire House. It's moved past the initial stages and is much closer to a floor vote. It's a major hurdle cleared.
That makes sense. A really important milestone then.
Yes.
Okay, let's walk through these reported bills. I'll give the designation, and maybe you can give us the gist of what each one is about and, why it might matter. First, House Resolution 4491.
Okay, House Resolution 4491. This one is about requiring the Small Business Administration, the SBA, to implement certain recommendations about IT modernization, information technology.
So, updating their computer systems.
Basically,
Yay.
yes. But the impact could be pretty big for small businesses. Think about applying for loans, accessing programs. If the SBA systems are more modern, more efficient, it could make interacting with the agency much smoother, faster, less red tape, hopefully.
Right, making government services easier to use. That seems straightforward.
Yeah, it could really help businesses focus on, well, business instead of wrestling with clunky websites or processes.
Okay, next up, House Resolution 3174. This one deals with small manufacturers.
Right. House Resolution 3174, and this one had an amendment noted. It aims to increase the loan limits for loans made specifically to small manufacturers.
So more potential funding available for them.
Exactly. It's about providing more capital access. Small manufacturers might need that extra funding to, say, buy new equipment, expand their facility, maybe hire more people. It's a direct attempt to support that manufacturing sector, which is obviously pretty important.
Makes sense. Then we have House Resolution 4549, focusing on the SBA's Office of Rural Affairs.
Yes, House Resolution 4549. This one amends the Small Business Act to clarify the responsibilities of the SBA's Office of Rural Affairs.
So defining their job more clearly.
Essentially, it suggests a focus on making sure that the specific needs of rural businesses are being addressed effectively. Rural areas often have different challenges than urban ones. So clarifying responsibilities could mean better, more targeted support from the SBA for those businesses outside the major metro areas.
Okay, a focus on rural economies. Now, switching gears slightly, House Resolution 4495 deals with pandemic programs.
House Resolution 4495 is about extending the statute of limitations for fraud related to certain pandemic relief programs.
Extending the deadline to prosecute fraud.
That's the idea. Given the huge amount of money that went out very quickly during the pandemic, there's concern about fraud. Extending the time limit gives investigators more time to build cases, potentially recover funds, and, hold people accountable if they misuse taxpayer money. It's about oversight and integrity.
Right, accountability for those funds. Okay, next is House Resolution 2066, also amending the Small Business Investment Act. What's this one about?
House Resolution 2066, also with an amendment. This one gets a bit more technical. It deals with leverage limits in the Small Business Investment Act. Specifically, it proposes excluding certain investments from those limits if the investments are in smaller businesses in rural or low-income areas, or are small businesses involved in critical technologies.
So it makes it easier to invest in those specific types of businesses.
Kind of, yeah. It's designed to incentivize private investment firms, those participating in the SBA program, to put more capital into these targeted areas, underserved regions, and key tech sectors, potentially driving growth where it's needed most.
Interesting. Okay, a focus on veterans next with House Resolution 980.
Yes, House Resolution 980, also amended. This aims to make improvements to how the Department of Veterans Affairs provides educational and vocational counseling on college campuses.
So, better support for veterans pursuing education or job training.
Exactly. It's about enhancing that on-campus support system. Better counseling can make a huge difference in helping veterans navigate college, choose a career path, and succeed after their service.
That seems like a very direct potential impact on veterans' lives. How might these improvements, enhance what's already there?
Well, the specifics would be in the bill text and report. But generally, improvements could mean more counselors, specialized training for counselors, maybe better integration with campus services, or using technology to make counseling more accessible. The goal is a smoother, more supportive transition.
Got it. Moving to the border now, House Resolution 1569, Technology and Cargo Inspection.
Right. House Resolution 1569 proposes setting up a pilot program. The idea is to test out using technology to speed up and improve cargo inspections at land ports of entry, so border crossings.
Why is that important? Trade, security?
Both, really. Faster, more efficient inspections could mean smoother trade, less waiting time for trucks, lower costs for businesses and consumers. But improved technology could also mean better security, being able to detect illegal goods or potential threats more effectively without slowing everything down. So it's trying to balance efficiency and security.
Using tech to solve a practical problem. Okay. And the last one we have a report filed for is House Resolution 2659, Critical Infrastructure and Cyber Threats.
Yes, House Resolution 2659. This one is focused squarely on national security. It proposes establishing an interagency task force
A task force for what?
to deal with the security of U.S. critical infrastructure. And specifically, it requires a report on how state-sponsored cyber actors from the People's Republic of China are targeting that infrastructure.
Wow, that sounds serious, focusing specifically on China.
It does. And yes, the focus is specific here. It reflects growing concerns about cyber attacks on things like, our power grid, financial systems, communication networks, the essential services we rely on. Establishing a task force and requiring this report signals an effort to coordinate a government response and really understand the threat landscape, particularly concerning state-sponsored activities. It connects directly to broader concerns about cybersecurity and economic espionage.
Okay, so a lot moving through committee there, touching on everything from small business IT to national cyber defense. So let's try to pull this together. What's the main takeaway for you listening to this? What does this snapshot of last week really tell us?
Well, I think it shows that even during weeks with these quieter procedural pro forma sessions, especially in the Senate, legislative work is happening. You see the steady introduction of new bills in the House. That's the pipeline constantly being filled.
Right, the ideas keep coming.
Exactly. And then, critically, you see significant movement on certain issues through those committee reports. Bills aren't just being introduced, they're being worked on, vetted, and advanced. Last week, that advancement was notable in areas like supporting small businesses in various ways, tech, loans, rural focus enhancing veteran support, dealing with pandemic fund accountability, border tech, and tackling major cybersecurity threats.
And we also saw those daily Speaker pro tempore appointments keeping the House formally operational.
That, too. It's all part of the process.
So as you think about this activity, consider how these pieces fit together. The focus areas in those bills that moved forward, small business, veterans, fraud oversight, border management, critical infrastructure security, these clearly reflect ongoing priorities and challenges. These actions last week, whether introducing a new idea or moving a bill out of committee, are the steps that could lead to impactful policies down the road. It's worth watching how these develop. Thanks for joining us today as we unpack some of last week's key congressional information. Keep exploring with us.